like, but it's PERT, P-E-R-T, and that's not it. It's Prel.
Yeah, our PERT is a more recent
Yeah,
version, though we're still measuring this in decades.
yeah, okay, you're right. Yeah, it's true. Prel has been around. Well, I mean, Doc must have told me that about 30 years ago. So that adds 30 years to the life of Prel right there.
Yes, I remember advertisements as a child.
Really. Okay, that
Yeah.
takes it back even further.
Oh, yeah.
Uh, your kids are grown up, huh?
Yes, I still have a junior in high school.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, actually, he'll be a senior.
All right.
But 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 Will's been working for several years, and Eli is entering his junior year in college.
Mhm. 'Cause I got grandchildren.
Yes, not me. They're not. I'm ready, but they're not.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, my grandchildren are done with college. How's that?
that's great.
I'm ready for great
There you
grandchildren.
go.
They are not.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm realizing that I'm not such a Zoom aficionado that I can. I'll just email you a photo of the boys. I'm significantly the shortest male member of my family now.
Oh boy, unbelievable. Have you started to go get shorter?
Well, of course, we all start getting shorter from about 25 on, because
Really?
our discs smush. Yeah,
But your sons are big, tall.
tall. Eli might be 6'9".
Wow, that is very tall.
Yeah, he manages it well. He doesn't love it.
Well, it is, I'm sure that we short people, we have our problems in the grocery store. It's getting harder and harder to find a shopper anywhere near me to reach for that top shelf. But
Yes,
but I do think about when I see some of my tall friends, it's got to be the world is not made for them either.
yeah. Flying is particularly challenging.
Oh my God, yeah. Those knees, where do you put them?
Yeah.
Do you guys play basketball, John? Your sons?
My youngest played for a while, but he's kind of given that up, and he has one more year of soccer in high school. He's a good soccer player, and last winter he chose not to keep playing basketball. I think he would have been on the bench for his high school team, and I understand the decision.
Sure.
I I I'm I flatter myself to think of myself as a rower, and I tried to introduce all three boys to rowing, and none of them lasted very long with that. So,
Yeah, it's interesting.
well, let's see.
Um,
Yeah,
I was going to say I enjoy kayaking
yes, me too. I
a
uh,
lot. Yeah.
take my
Can,
dog out in a kayak.
oh, that's cool. Like I canoed with my friends and family a lot. And then, yeah, as an adult, I enjoy kayaking, just locally, you know.
Yes.
John, where's local for you? What river?
Oh, so I actually live in the city of Austin, and
Yeah.
so like the Charles River is one place, but it's not the Charles River in the center of Boston. It's the river kind of loops around about 23 miles upstream, and then it loops in and it's kind of near me. And that's a nice spot. But also the Neponset River is also great, and it's right near me.
Once upon a time, I lived in Watertown, down the hill was the Charles River.
Oh, there I am. Say when, Sunil. All right, thank you everybody for staying for the Dharma talk today. It's nice to see such a good crowd. Today, giving our opening talk is Theron Van Ostren. Did I say that right? Theron has been practicing since 2008. He has sat many retreats and a couple of kolches. Kolches are the longer retreats that go up on at our monastery. He lived at PZC from 2017 through 2022. He now lives in Colorado studying fine woodworking at Red Rocks Community College. All right, and answering questions today is Zen Master Dae An, Bogumila Malinowska. All right, got to read this one. All right. Zen Master Dae An is a guiding teacher at London Zen Center. She teaches in the UK and abroad and sits long Zen retreats regularly. She met Zen Master Seung San in Poland in 1981. In 2005, she established London Zen Center 2 years after moving to the UK with spiritual support from Zen Master Wu Bong. She received Inka, authority to teach, from Zen Master Wu Bong in September 2009 at Warsaw Zen Center. Wu Bong Sa. Okay. She received transmission from Zen Master Ji Kwang on June 15, 2024. In her professional life, she is a licensed counselor, psychotherapist, in private practice in North London. So thank you both for being here today.
I haven't given a Dharma talk in a couple of years. So I'm actually really nervous. So yeah, like Dave said, I'm living in Colorado right now. I'm doing fine woodworking at Red Rocks Community College. And that all kind of came about, I was living here, or at least in Rhode Island, and I was sitting with Carol's husband, Don Boudreau. And then I went out there to do some hiking. And I was hiking, and at some point I stopped in town. I was like, I wonder if there's a woodworking school that I could go to. And I had some inkling that I wanted to be in the mountains again, because that's where I already was, And yeah, I found that, popped over there. And it's funny being back here, because I loved my Rhode Island life. And it's always so nice to come to the Zen Center and just be here and be in a practicing space again. I don't so much have that in Colorado, but I still like to sit. I like to run. Running's a really nice body practice for me, just kind of bopping along and kind of letting my thoughts, slowly just kind of relax a little bit, being out there alone with the sky. In backpacking, I don't utilize the mountains like I thought I would. I always have this idea that I'm going to go to Colorado and I'm going to be outside all the time. I'm not. I'm going to sit around and watch Netflix. Yeah, I just got out there for my first hike, actually, right before I started this trip. One of my good friends wanted to do a 2-night overnight thing up in one of our favorite spots. So we ended up only doing one night because that's what I had time for. Jumped up there, did some hiking. I think we went 8 miles in or something like that. And that's always such a nice practice for me, just walking in the woods. It's quiet. You have the wind, you have the water, all the little quiet and subtle creatures that are roaming around and seeing you, and if you're lucky, you'll get to see them too, you know. In this trip that I'm on right now, so I went on that one night backpacking trip and immediately came back to the city, flew to New York City for 1 week with my with the folks that I've been seeing, and then we were in upstate New York for 1 week, and now I'm here for a few days before going into some Kyulche. And I was so anxious about this trip. You know, coming from the mountains and then going right, or knowing that I was going to New York City, where I'm not from, never spent a lot of time there. I have all these ideas about what New York City is, you know. It's noisy, there's all these people, you have to like try hard to exist there in a certain kind of way. And I was, you know, in the world situation too, it made me really, really anxious to go to New York City. And so I started to build up this story about like, oh, I don't like this, and I don't like that, and it'll be so this way, and like, just really, really getting in my head about it. And yeah, watching all these little I things appear. And then kind of let myself put them down and went on the trip anyway, obviously. And it was funny because I, you know, have never spent that much time in New York City. I've been there for like a long weekend before. I think I stayed at like the Choge International Zen Center that we have there. And it was fine. You know, I didn't like really connect with the city. I didn't have time to like walk around or be by myself. But I was by myself a lot that week. And it was really beautiful, actually. In the same way that, you know, hiking in the mountains is a nice like walking meditation for me. Walking in the city is the same way. You know, there's like all these car horns and there are all these people, all these different smells and sights, but it's the same thing. You know, if you can like just be quiet on the inside and walk, it's still just walking, you know. And it's really like beautiful to like, I don't know, acknowledge that part for myself and just really connect with the city like that and connect with myself that way. And I picked up another set of little mala beads and I could just thumb them while I'm walking through the city. And I don't like keep a mantra necessarily or anything like that. So I'd like lose it every now and then, but just having this motion, you know, going on for myself, let me like, you know, I'd notice it every now and then, be like, oh yeah, pay attention, you know? So that was really lovely. Yeah, and a unique experience, you know. I'd been practicing for years and it's fun to see like those kinds of surprises appear for me where I like get anxious about absolutely nothing. You know, it's just a city, it's just a bunch of people living in one spot, you know. And then I was in upstate New York for a week. And that was a really beautiful experience in a different way. I wasn't by myself very often. And you know, I was with my partners, and there was kind of this like building tension for the first few days because one of them was still working and the other one was not. So we were like running around and doing all these fun things, and somebody else was getting kind of jealous, you know? And so there's this like quiet tension. And we were staying in a house that's kind of cluttered, and kind of hot, and not the most ideal sleeping arrangements. And that kind of came to a head one day, and I was just like, one person's being kind of rude in the morning, and even more rude in the afternoon, and then in the evening I was just like, oh man, this is a lot, and like kind of getting insufferable, and then this fight appears, and I'm just watching this like, what the hell is going on, you know? And notice that as soon as people raise my voices, my center's gone. I'm just like, you know, because I don't know how to deal with this. Like, I'm watching them fight and not really feeling like I'm a part of it, and I don't understand what's going on, you know. And now I'm kind of upset because I'm like not having a good time anymore, right? And then the person that was really upset goes for a swim, comes back, they're all happy again. And now I'm even more upset because they didn't even say sorry. Yeah. And I sat with that for like a day or something, and eventually I was like, yo, like, what was that about? Because I was like pretty upset about it. It made me feel a certain kind of way that there was no there, and I'm sorry I was like such an asshole, you know? And here I am starting to be an asshole back because of that, you know? And And it was a really beautiful, interesting conversation to me. It was pretty brief, but it was like understanding that there was things that I didn't know, you know, and really checked me and my practice, you know, because I could have asked, you know, what's going on? Like, what can I do for you? Because that's all they wanted, was to feel acknowledged and seen and like understand that they're not having a good time. You know, the work situation for them was they're working at a kitchen table. They don't have the screens that they're used to. They're not in a comfortable chair. They're just suffering, you know, and not being able to accomplish the things that they need to, how they're used to being able to accomplish it, you know, and just getting really frustrated because no one's helping, you know. And here we are out going swimming and visiting friends and going on hikes, and it's, yeah. Yeah, and so I didn't grow up with my siblings are both 10 years younger than me. So I didn't grow up with a family that I could like fight with or argue with, you know, and my parents didn't argue really. And so it was, yeah, really interesting for me to see how easily I just like can't function or don't function when people start yelling at each other. And all I had to do was ask how I could help, you know. And I think that's something I really want to pay attention to and sit with, you know. It's like nice to have all these nice long walks through the city or through the mountains. But then when it comes to like the grit of life and interpersonal connections, you know, still being able to check in when things are tough and say like, how can I help and how can I show up to this better, instead of just like, you know, backing away or shutting down and like making this other person that's being really mean, you know. And so that was my lesson this week. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Thank you for sharing and for your sorry. So this is very interesting situation when we face sometimes people arguing, and it's just interesting because same I went by underground to airport and also saw people arguing about actually I wouldn't say not big things, like one person was snoring, another was eating some food, and the one who was eating food didn't like the one who was snoring, so they wake him up, and actually in not very like nice way, and they start to argue, and then one of them left train, and there was like it was so sudden, and that's why Zen Master Sung San sometimes used to say the anger is the quite sudden feeling appear, and frustration. And yes, I also asked myself, what could I do? It was so fast, and the train was continue, and there was men sitting next to me. We looked at each other, and then it was almost like I felt like, could I do something better? And I think the judgment is not necessary, but some kind of like noticing, as you mentioned, noticing the situation and our response, and having space to digest. We say digest, process, and in that moment, when we digest the process, then maybe next time similar situation, maybe we can do something. But that was the best what we could do in the moment. So it's interesting because this is like we have this structure kongans, but we also have a life kongans we face from moment to moment. And if we go, as a human, we usually go to our habits, how we can used to resolve the situation, or how maybe important people in our life was dealing with situation. How we start to analyze, but if we just sit with this experience, then we can reach something we call before thinking or don't know mind. And sometimes take time to actually process something. And to what is coming up from the process is interesting, because we already change the habits, change our way of approaching situation. And we might not get answer immediately, but we do something about that. So sorry for my voice, but it's from, I think, flight or something. So if you have any questions about practice, about how we can use Zen in day-to-day life, what does it mean practicing Zen? And I know some of you practice Zen very long, and any question is important because it's teaching all of us. The question is the most important. So if you have, and don't try to judge your question. Because sometimes, okay.
Good morning, everyone. I really appreciate the initial talk in terms of the interpersonal, the challenges of the interpersonal, because when you meditate, it's just kind of you in a way. And I know that part of the practice is releasing the I, and I'm working through that. But I was curious, when you're faced with an interpersonal interaction where maybe boundaries might be necessary, how do we reconcile there's no I, and yet in that moment, in that interaction, we have to exert some type of balance to the crossing of boundaries, to say, that's not okay with me. I'm raising a 17-year-old, so. So just reflections on that, how we balance the no I, but we need boundaries in certain interactions. Thank you.
So, can I ask you a question? So right now, what is the interaction?
Just having an interaction of when you have a dialogue with someone, and maybe there's, I grew up with respecting your elders. So if I'm in an interaction with someone, my family's from the Caribbean, we respect our elders. So this generation is a little bit different. So speaking to younger folks, and sort of checking when the conversation or the dialogue is not respectful. How do you sort of talk about sort of like the healthy boundaries, the healthy level of respectful communication, because you get into that conversation and you can get into me and I feel and I. Mm-hmm. So how do we sort of navigate that without kind of going back into a lot of
so right
I?
Now, what is happening? Right now, what is happening?
What is happening?
Yeah.
I'm asking a question. I'm standing here.
Yeah. And I will try to answer. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
So sometimes we have nowadays lots of instruction how to keep boundaries and how to keep healthy relationships and I have I talk during my work and therapy session about that with clients, but the the things which we can really use as a very helpful, how we can stay clear in the moment. And if we can still stay clear in the moment, then our mind is like mirror, so it's almost like mirrorizing the situation. So we have a chance to see the situation clearly, and then the next step is how to approach the situation. So it's lifelong process. But if we start from teaching our system, our mind, how to stay in the moment, then we have a big chance to see the situation, the relationship clearly, and then we can respond. There is chance we can respond clearly. So we call this like very, very important stage, very first stage, how we can be in the moment. So as I ask, what is happening right now, you say you ask question and I answer, and this is Dharma talk situation. And how we can keep this mind from moment to moment. So very important is actually pointing to direction of our practice, how we can keep correct situation, correct relationship, correct function from moment to moment. So is take effort, but at the same time, if we try, then we can, at least if we make mistake, we can notice it was something maybe I opened too much, or maybe I could say something, I could do something, but when even we haven't done things very clearly, we can notice when we practice, when we process, when we digest the situation, we can learn from this situation. So this is let's say, the benefit of practicing the moment, and continue do formal practice, and also how we implement formal practice in day-to-day life, in noisy and quiet place, in overcrowded and when we are alone. So it's quite like art, I would say, but we start from noticing, and noticing is very important human skill, and even when we do as simple practice as counting from 1 to 10, and we get lost with counting, then we have the ability to notice, and then we can go back to counting again. So Bodhidharma called this noticing or awareness. This is a very important skill. So that's what I want to say.
I have a question.
Oh.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Edith, go ahead.
Okay. Hello, Bogumila. It is wonderful to see you again.
Hello.
I haven't been at the Zen Center for years. And Derek, it's great to see you. So my question is, and I'm going to try to put it in a way I haven't faced it before. So right now, I'm talking to you, and you're listening to me. But at the same time, so that's very immediate. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, and this is where I'm going to turn it around for a change. Maybe I should say small, no, I don't like to say small. Bogumila has been living for many years, or maybe a few years, whichever way you want to put it. You have your whole life behind you, and you have, and every day comes with experience. So how does, and I'm thinking about that because memories are becoming more of a part of my present life. So I'm wondering, I think, so how does your past influence this moment right now while you're listening to me?
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you for your question, and I try to use my ears, I try to use my eyes, and try to use my body. And of course, memory is coming and going, but our job is how we can actually, again, process our memory, process our experience, and how we can use this experience in the moment. And sometimes when we have overwhelming memory, and sometimes when we have dramatic memory, how we can, again, process this memory and how we can use it. How we can be not to pull to old habits of action, of thinking, and how we can be clear in the moment.
Thank you. So can I ask a follow-up question?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not thinking so much of strong memories but just the fact that we have been alive, just the fact that moment to moment everything is interconnected, more along that line. Everything's interconnected. So how does the past of my existence come into this present moment? Not, some strong memory so much as just the sense of having been, Yeah.
Okay, so the floor is brown, and the cup is white, and the water is there. And thank you for your question.
Thank you. Thank you for the teaching.
Hi. So you mentioned Kwang interviews. I find Kwang interviews kind of stressful, and I know a lot of other people do as well. But also, I haven't really heard like a detailed explanation of why are we doing this kind of artificial situation? How does that connect to our life? How does it help us live a life that's full of purpose?
Yeah, so as we start from the beginning, we face from moment to moment situation, and we are in certain relationships and certain situations, and so we have this life task. We face life question, and Kongans are the translation. If I'm correct, it means like case. So there is case, there is story, there is dialogue, and at the end of the story or dialogue, there is question or few questions. And why is the question? You have question. Why is so stressful? The Kongan itself is not stressful, but sometimes we approach Kongans with somehow the situation might appear as stressful because we get some question, and then the situation is someone is checking. We feel like someone is checking us. And that's what we experience in our life. Someone is checking, or we check ourselves, or we check ourselves, are we right, are we not right? Or someone is checking, it may be like manager, or sometimes like people in our life checking, is this right or is not right? And that's so that's is setting in our set up in our system. So when we face the situation, when we get some questions, we get this kind of like body-mind response. That's sometimes we have very strong experience of being checked or checking ourselves. So that is quite difficult to face. But the point is, we usually in the life, that's what I see, because I talk with, when I sometimes see someone is not very happy about Kongans, and I was very long student, and I was doing Kongans for very, very long. So I understand the experience from both sides somehow. And so I usually see what is important for, like, let's say, outside world. It's important, the goal, the answer, and achieving something. So when we face the situation, this kind of response is coming up. So we feel like we have to present the answer right now, right here. So that's what makes us quite stressed and unhappy. But if we think actually this is not the most important to give the answer, but the most important actually Kongan is the very smart skill how we can connect with our don't know mind, or we say before thinking mind, which is happening in the life, but in the life we usually go to, we have to find in our memory, we have to find in the books, we have to maybe ask someone. So then, in this case, we are rely on our practice on keeping don't know mind. So the most important is use this technique to get connected with our don't know mind, or we sometimes say our true self, and also develop this connection. So the teacher job is to prompt this connection, and the Kongan is when we practice longer and longer, we see very clearly we cannot resolve Kongans by thinking. We cannot resolve Kongan by going and reading something. We have to do something else, and that's what we learn during Kongan practice. We need to go back to our before thinking mind, and the process from the moment when we get a question, Kongan question, the process is starting. So we already gaining answer. At least in our life, more and more we use our don't know mind, our connection with before thinking, with our true self. So we already, so this is the most important. But as I said, as a human, we are conditioned by, you have to give the answer, you have to present the answer. The answer will come up by itself. So when we sometimes what is important is sitting actually with this stress, with disappointment, and use this actually. What is happening? What is happening when I experience all this, whatever, stress, disappointment, and frustration, and use this. So in there's quite good book about Huadu, how to use Huadu. So really like sitting with this experience, same like in the life experience, sitting with this experience. So then we are kind of like using this experience. When we digest frustration and disappointment and stress, then we can use and we can kind of free ourselves from that. Thank you.
Darren mentioned, one of the things he mentioned is the way the world is today, the things going on, and he even mentioned Kongans. So I have a real life Kongan that hit me this week, or maybe late last week, and I'm struggling with it. If you can kind of give some advice. The situation was I was on a meeting, a Zoom call, and there was a bunch of people from all over the world on the call. So we have an office in Spain, so there was 2 people from Spain, there was a person from Singapore, China, Japan, Canada, Costa Rica, Brazil, and I'm from the United States. And we start the call, everyone kind of introduces themselves, and the guy from Canada says, "Gary, what the hell are you people doing?" And
I didn't know what to say. I actually got choked up because it was really the first time I realized that the world is on pins and needles on what we are going to do. I always looked at it from Darren's I, where it's like, we're spending too much on this, or we could be doing that, this political party is that, and so on and so forth. And I try not to bash any political party, because there's a lot of really nice people on the left, and there's a really lot of nice people on the right. So I try not to further the divide. But it was a punch in the face or in the gut that this person from Canada said, he directed at me. He didn't say, what is Trump doing? He said, Gary, what the hell are you people doing? We're supposed to be friends. So I expected that from Canada, but I literally just sat there. I had no idea what to say. I had no idea what to do. Pretty much a typical Kwan interview. So I didn't say anything. I just kind of handed the mic to the next person over. So if we could have two people during a Kwan interview, so I can kind of shift the blame off to them, that would be awesome. But anyway, I'm not sure if there's a question in there other than how to respond. I mean, because I'd be bashing if I responded one way, and I'd be, I don't know, if I answered, gee, I don't know, which is pretty much what I sat there and going, like, shit, put the camera on somebody else, please. Anyway, like I said, it was kind of my personal Kangan, and it was also really a stark realization that, there's a lot at stake.
Yeah. Thank you for the question.
So what should I say?
You actually already, I think, respond to your question. You say it's like Kongan for you. And it's Kongan for for us as a human, and just sit with this question. I'm not sure if you had to say something, immediately in the situation, but you get some question, and that's important. And remind me for some reason, because I knew Wu Bong Zen Master Jacoper, and he quite often was talking about when he was student, and there was some, he was engaged politically with some march, and then and there was I think it was maybe 70s or 80s, and then he said he went for march and saw all these, as he said, some angry, some unhappy people, and he saw inside of him as well, I'm actually not happy, I'm angry, I'm frustrated. And that was the moment like he turned inside this question, how can I actually help, instead of like as you notice, blaming this or not blaming, or giving love those or giving love another, sitting with this big question. We all human have to sit now with this, and it's painful and it's big actually, and doing some practice, maybe sometimes then Master Sung San say special practice necessary. Special practice necessary, and sometimes I feel, I'm not very young. Why, I shouldn't do like so many prostration. But then, yeah, come on, you can still do it, and or maybe some mantra and practice and kido, and or just use as a huadu. You're already doing. You stick to the question. It's very important. And try, sometimes the answer is not coming up immediately.
Yeah, my natural reaction was to start doing Kwan Say and Bolsa chanting, but I think, gee, these people think I'm weird enough already.
Yeah. I might say, so.
Yeah, but thank you very much.
Thank you for the question.
Prior
to the talk, I was sitting out in the lobby, and I was talking to somebody, and we were talking about, or I was talking about how practice is not about trying to change. It's trying to stay here. Can maybe you talk about that? Did I get it right?
Yeah. I mean, yes, stay in the moment, but also how to use the skill of staying in the moment to be skillful in the moment. So if we put on our, let's say, into our mind, we have to change ourselves, we have to change the world, is already kind of like idea. And we actually don't know what does it mean, the good change or bad change, or how is this gonna progress. So I think being caring about the moment and using we have lots of good techniques to practice how to be in the moment, like the floor is brown, how to keep and like this mind and just like this mind. So like this mind is like we now sitting and talking, the floor is brown, the wall is white, and also just like this. So in any situation, what is the correct relation and correct function? So it's very, very important to use all these skills. And that's if we think about like changing or not changing, I don't think thinking about changing or not changing is helpful, but that's already, I guess, if I maybe use different word like progress, and we are clearer and clearer, and we can keep more skillfully, be more skillful in the moment. That's what I probably want to say. It's not, and not to, as I already mentioned, not to judge ourselves. And sometimes we go back to our habits of thinking, our action and our thoughts, or sometimes when we practice very long, sometimes very old stuff come up, and very strong habits, very deep habits. So also not to neglect that, really maybe care and do some more practice to process, to digest.
Any other questions? We can do announcements. We're almost out of time. Right. Thank you very much for your talks and helpful teaching. Just a few announcements. Our silent retreat, Summer Kyulche, is happening at the monastery right now. And Zen Master Dae An is actually doing the first week. If you have previous experience in the Kwan School of Zen retreats, you could actually still join. It's a 3-day minimum. You could join on Wednesday. Or you could set any of the remaining 3 weeks. Next week is going to be with our abbot, Kwan, and then Zen Master Ji Kwang. And then lastly, it's going to be Zen Master Songhyun, Bobby Rhodes, who is the head of the Kwan School. So that's an exciting opportunity to sit with her. If you are a beginner, you could sit a one-day retreat next Saturday with Zen Master Tangong, who is in the back. If you would like to ask him any questions about how the retreat works, in a few minutes you can do that. Let's see.
How do you sign up for that?
You go online and look at upcoming retreats, and it will help you, but we can also chat right after this if you need help. The other big event coming up is Founders Day and PZC Zen Fest on August 2nd and 3rd. That's when kind of the larger Sangha gets together. We have ceremonies, but also we're going to have some fun activities. There's going to be a sing-along, I think on Friday night. Saturday afternoon, there's going to be Zen Fest. We'll have art performances, vegetarian barbecue. It's going to be a lot of fun. And then I think there's also conscious dance on Saturday night, which is actually kind of awesome. I did it last time, and it was amazing. So you can find information about that online as well. We also have an art, speaking of art, we have an art club, and the art club is going to start meeting every other week. Next date will be July 13th, which is it's actually Sunday at noon, so if you come to the morning Dharma talk, you can stay for art club. And we have our usual programming, Wednesday night dinner and practice. That's when you could try chanting if that's something you're curious about. And other than that, we're going to have refreshments right now, so please stay. And it's an opportunity to get to know the other people in the Sangha. The gift shop will be open. It's kind of in the corner past the lounge. And the last thing I wanted to ask is if you don't mind being in a photo for our social media, stay in your seat for just 2 minutes, and if you would like to leave, go ahead. Thank you. Next time we go to a client interview, it's going to be super easy. I'm not supposed to say that.